Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend, Publish, and Lead. Welcome to episode 192, Try a Writing Log. I have played around with writing logs for many, many years to track how many hours a week I'm actually getting some writing completed, when I am doing the writing, what kinds of projects I'm working on. And I go back and forth with these a lot, but we do get a lot of questions about tracking writing time and how you actually know you're getting anything completed and so on. So I decided to make an episode on writing logs. In the show notes, I will have links to many free templates to writing logs. There's all kinds of great ones out there. One I used for a very long time was a free resource by Wendy Belcher. She's the author of How to Write a Journal Article in 12 Weeks, a book that probably many in this community are familiar with, but she had a free download for a template that I used for a number of years, even when I wasn't working on journal articles. But today I also want to show one that I think is a really well developed writing log that is actually a free resource you get when you join Textbook and Academic Authors Association. So, as you know, they're one of our podcast sponsors. They're our only podcast sponsor because I only allow sponsors with products I actually use. And I talk about this organization all the time because it's a very low cost membership for a year and you get so many resources. But today, honestly, I think the writing log template is worth, this is one of those resources that's totally worth the cost of membership, but they also have lots of webinars and all kinds of other resources. So you've heard me say how wonderful they are. I will have a link in the show notes how to get join for a discount. But what I want to show on the screen is this writing log template that is available, and it is just one of the resources that's available. So this one that is in here, and like I said, there's some that just track hours and time. There are others that actually track labor. And so this is one that's called like a writing/labor log. I like that idea because a couple universities that we've been working with recently actually require faculty to track all their productivity and their time during the week. And so it could be hours for teaching and scholarship and service. So something like this makes it pretty easy to share what kinds of scholarly productivity we're getting done during the week. I know some of you might be either watching this on YouTube or listening to this episode in horror because that's, surveillance and somebody's looking at our writing and all that kind of stuff. And believe me, I got feelings about that too. However, I like a writing log if you're trying to get back into a habit where you're really being honest with yourself about how many hours you're actually working and what you're doing. So this log, I think, does a nice job of making it not too hard for a log that will take forever to fill out every day, because that would turn me off too. And for audio listeners, what I'm showing on the screen is an Excel sheet that has the date, a time in and time out. So you're basically like clocking in and out, some tracking of how many hours you're working, a total number of weekly hours and total hours to the date. I have not tried this template yet because it's newer since I've been in there, but it looks to me like hours get added up, like it actually has totals in there that might do some adding for you. I'll have to let me check out some formulas real quick to see if that is possible, if it actually does those calculations. I'm not totally sure. It does. So I just looked at this Excel spreadsheet, and if you type in your hours, you'll be able to adjust how many hours you spend on writing, and you'll be able to get a real clear look. So fabulous. I love this. There's credit to the author who made it, and Tammy Clemens is her name. So thank you, Tammy. It's fabulous. But if anybody wants to check out this template, I will put the link to Textbook and Academic Authors Association in our show notes. And if you go under members start here and click the Get Informed button, you'll be able to see the templates button and you can find it right away. So the other thing I really like about this is that this particular template is organized by month, because some months we know are much better for writing and others not so much. So I am going to play around with this template and I'll do a follow-up episode on how it worked out for me. This template is organized like where January is at the top. So my only critique would be I'd do it academic year, like August to July or something like that. But I can scroll down and then go, it looks like she just put in the first few months. So it looks like I'm able to actually add in my own months and formulas and stuff like that. So I'm going to play around with it. What I might end up doing is just change the month dates and just make this one this for this semester. So I'll make January, September and change the dates accordingly. You could do the same thing if you want to, but writing logs just in general, if you don't use this one, you might track it somewhere else. So another thing that I'm showing on screen is a habit tracker that I like. It's a pen and paper kind of affair, and it is called, it's just called a habit calendar. A group called Free Period Press produces it. I've mentioned it in an episode way back, I think maybe as a Christmas gift, but I really like this calendar because it's a good way to just notch off things. So if you wrote something like write for 30 minutes today as one of your habits, you're able to just put a little X through the box and go about your day. You did it or you didn't do it. Now that doesn't tell us like how much labor or the types of things that you were doing is in there, but if you just want something very quick and easy, so you could have other things in there. I make new faculty laugh every single year because I say I always add take a multivitamin on there, and then sometimes I still forget to do it. But yeah, I think, you could go in a very kind of simple way where you're just tracking, yes, did I do some writing? Or you could get more granular, like how long was I writing? The template I'm showing on screen, this Excel spreadsheet, I do like that it says description of work, because let's say you have long time periods between writing sessions. This is a really good way to keep track and know whether you've got writing completed or not completed. So you're able to look and say, okay, well, what did I do last Monday? This would be a good way that's kind of simple to just look at where you're at. The other quibble that I would have with using something like this is that let's say you work on multiple projects in a time period. When you log writing, that gets more messy and complex. So in a description, you might say project 1, here's what I did. Project 2, here's what I did. That would be totally fine. But you just want to make sure in your description, you're clear about what work goes with what project if you use a more detailed kind of log. And then I also want to point out a couple other things you can use writing logs for. So of course, they kind of capture your scholarship in the moment. So that's a good way to kind of have awareness about your writing and to know, am I really spending enough? Another way to think about it is I always talk about having a range for how much writing you want to do during a week. So I say I want to do between 8 and 12 hours. This sample template on the screen shows somebody wrote 10.33 hours. So if that was me, I could say, yep, I could be finished for this week. I've written somewhere in between my range of 8 to 12. I have completed it. So I do like the quantitative side of writing logs for that reason. You can also think about the log in a couple different ways. What would be the purpose for using it? Some people really want to track how much time they're spending. Other people want to track how many hours they're spending on particular projects. So for example, like time allocated for a grant. Other people might use a log more as a record of what did I work on last time? What am I working on next time? So maybe they're tracking by writing sessions, but they don't really care how many hours they spent on each session or hours per week or anything like that. So I like the idea of paying attention to your writing in this way, but there are so many different varieties of writing logs. I think, I'll put as many as I can in the show notes so you get kind of a buffet of strategies to try. But if you have a chance to check out one of these resources, we'd love to hear about it. You can always talk to us on LinkedIn at Defend, Publish, and Lead. I will post some of the resources there as well this week because there's just so many really great things out there about logging writing that I think it's totally worth a share. Also, if you can post it on X if you want to, and respond to us there on formerly Twitter. That's another place where you can talk to us. So hopefully a writing log helps this week. I encourage you to try it. We're in September with a lot of new shiny energy. So hopefully you'll have some happy writing this week.